Looks like your credits went through just fine. Fantastic. Now, where was I? Right. You were asking about the mercs. Nox Solaris. Well, friend, you have come to the right man. Been their humble street pharmacist since just after they got together. Some of my best clients, by the way. But more importantly for you, they're the best there is at what they do. I mean, what a group. Leader's a bona fide Atlantean voyager. That's right, Atlantean. Then there's the spooky techno-wizard cyborg genius. Finally, a mystic smithy giant. 12 feet tall if he's an inch. Not to mention the mountain of a spirit bear he calls brother. Now, I can get word to him if you're looking to hire Mister. No problem there. Just let old Blitz give you 2 tiny tips for your health. First, don't get on their bad side. Make sure you have payment ready to go, and don't try to pull any bullshit, or you're worse than dead. And second, don't piss off that fucking bear.
Finally, there you are. The Nexus had just enough power to fuel one more try. The last step. The Megaverse knows my Atlantean people as heroes, but a shadow of chaos has taken root in me. They try to bind it. They try to bury it. But when I finally called out to it, to you, from across the void, you answered, I am ready.
Welcome, traveler, to the Black Shore.
Your shame reaches a mother's heart, even beyond the veil, little brother. My sister saw and mocked her as the darkness closed in. She giggled and synthesized honey-sweet tones while leaning close to softly breathe her venom into my ear. And so, with judgment passed and tourniquets in place, my family commanded the automated surgical bots to neatly slice both arms and legs from my torso. The harsh lights overhead swam and dimmed before my eyes, as flesh and bone were replaced with cold, unfeeling metal to cripple my connection to the arcane. Now, my family lies far behind my path, and I follow a new teacher as she whispers from the darkness ahead. Her voice haunts me with promises of forbidden knowledge and wonders precious beyond compare. Each step brings me closer to my prize, closer to my revenge, closer to her.
Nah, brother. My eyes read the stars as keenly as your ancient ones do. It is almost here. E is almost home. And with him comes the end for our proud and noble Vana countryman, along with the rest of the souls on this world. As his foul shadow falls upon us all, we alone stand for those who cannot. Ugh. So rise, son of Aku. Our ancestors smile upon us this night as they call us home. Come and let us earn our place amongst the stars above.
Okay, guys, we are live once again with our Prism of KeterFall campaign. We're going to dive right into it today and try and just leap right into the action. We have got our Techno Wizard Ren currently trying to head back to a contact to see about an opportunity to acquire a nano forge, which he's been looking for. And he has just entered the homunculus shop once again, where the store tender has just nodded him on to the kind of rear staircase, which leads down to the office of his contact. Now, as he rounds the corner and heads down the stairs, he finds himself once again within the Techno Wizard kind of artisan workshop of one Barbados Khan. Barbados Khan seems to be involved as well in some kind of relationship with an enigmatic godlike figure that Ren has had some dealings with. And he almost seems to be some kind of representative for that force. Although this hasn't been discussed much yet. So, at this point, we pick up with Ren walking down the stairs and confronting Barbados Khan while he's turned away from him. So as Ren walks up behind Barbados Khan, Khan stays completely silent until Ren hits the bottom stair. At that point, is there anything you'd like to say? I'd like to open it up and give you the opportunity to...
I just would step forward probably and do one of those, clear my throat slightly, just kind of nervously, realizing that I was already supposed to meet but hadn't, and just kind of do a...
Okay, as you do this, you hear him very gruffly say, I know you're there. You're late. And then he falls silent once again.
Just a bit. Apologize for that.
Okay, he
Not
says...
my intention.
He says, the offer's been withdrawn. A new one may be issued at a future date. Unfortunately, you seem to have some heat on the item we're interested in. The Merchant of Brass. He don't deal with other people's heat. And at this, he simply shrugs his head to the side and seems to suggest that you head on out.
Is there a way you can contact me when this opportunity may...
Yeah. He just waves his hand dismissively over his shoulder.
And then how would I know when that is?
He says, we already have your telex number. Now go and watch your back. The people coming after you. I wouldn't tussle with them, boyo.
Do you know who it is that is?
Indeed. Our intelligence suggests that one of yours was on a communique with an associate of your group when they were attacked by the people interested in said merchandise. Now I suggest you leave before I remove you. We will be in contact. Keep it safe. That arm is more valuable than you know.
I will do a quick head nod and turn to leave.
All right. You turn and
Kind of walk slowly to see if there's anything else he wants to say, or just...
he says nothing else.
Okay.
All right. You head... Go ahead.
You go ahead. No, you go. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, you just start heading back up the stairs. He doesn't really say or do anything. As you pass the shopkeeper, nothing really interesting happens. And
no weird corner glance look or...
Nothing.
No, okay.
Nothing at all.
Or anything? Okay. Well, since that deal seems to have gone up in smoke at the moment, I'll hurry back to the forge, and hopefully my drones will ping me soon of any sighting of the whereabouts of our friend, or not friend.
I'm going to say you guys had about a 2-hour wait, well, like an hour and 50-minute wait left, and I'm going to say that this whole interaction, we're only talking we're talking 5 minutes to walk into the store, down, and back out. So
like a couple minute walk to get to the place too, like maybe another 5 minutes after that or something.
I mean, not even really, because again, you guys are sort of in a big, open you had started out standing sort of in the middle of the street or the point in this kind of, almost think of it like a little town square kind of thing. And most of the shops are located around this one point. That's where you guys came into this area. So it's sort of like all of these businesses we listed, they're just like, right, you're just walking,
So
50 feet or something.
Since I talked to your mirror last, it's been no more than 10 minutes, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, I mean, I'd say that's about right with kind of meandering a little bit and, just little small things. I'd say 10 minutes is about exactly how long it's been. So,
I'll go back with haste because I was expecting whatever I was dealing was going to take probably a bit as opposed to a couple of minutes. So,
okay, all right. You head back out and with speed start making it back over to the blacksmith shop. And with that, we will go ahead and transition over.
Do I see anything on the way back that, I mean, I know we were talking about getting supplies, but, supplies aren't as important, or can be something that we could probably all get together when we actually have an idea that we could discuss during the forging process, possibly, of what we might need to go to when we venture forth. But is there anything that on my quick jaunt back that strikes my attention that we might need, or like anything that catches my eye? Because I do want to, like, my priority is get back, obviously, because I don't want to miss what this interaction. And I know obviously Ymir wanted me to be there.
Sure, just a quick glance around, you mean?
Not, but I do want to just kind of keep an eye out to make sure that, like, I know it's not far, but since we are tight for time, and I've already told him I might be late or might not even make it at all, just to grab anything that I could.
Yes, as you take a look around, you're realizing that most of the like normal gear that you'd be looking for to survive in harsh environments and just that kind of basic equipment, you would guess is probably more generally sold in the more high-tech area of the aristocrat that you guys actually just came from. Because that here it's more like, quite a bit of magical and artisanally crafted kind of things, and kind of hard to find shit. The Berg is more kind of sort of medieval and just kind of, it's just structured to kind of cater to things that are just more, like I said, more exotic. The lanes is like where you could find any kind of modern convenience, any kind of modern weapon, any kind of modern gear, and where you'd probably even do business if you were looking to exchange like large amounts of goods or materials, or make like a large business transaction. That's where all the shipping and all the all that kind of shit's going on. So anyway, but as you glance around, you actually would guess that your companion Akama probably already hit what would be the most useful shop by going over to the apothecary and picking up some potions and so forth. Other than that, there's some weapons and magical trinkets and so forth. But as you do look around, you spot a child of no more than 10 coming out of the shop that you just exited, with another ghastly creature that looks as though it would have no problem chewing her head off, although its teeth have been filed down to blunt nubs. And you just wonder again what the hell the point of these strange pet-like dolls that they sell is. Other than that, nothing really interesting going on, and again, no shops that look like they'd really be helpful at the moment. So,
do I see anything out of these like kind of bizarre, unique little like shops that like has anything like any like dealing with any like type of ore or metal in particular?
You do see that located next to the blacksmith shop that your companions have already headed over to, next to their kind of open storefront, which you see here, there does appear to be like a large kind of facility with a small alley leading to it, set back from the actual kind of street face. And this facility looks like it's got really worn tracks in the cobblestones where carts under great weight have trod countless times. You see several large indents where it looks like some kind of incredibly heavy beast of burden was used just sporadically to kind of come in and move great weight to and from this location, this large kind of warehouse kind of looking facility. So you don't know if it was some kind of troll or a fucking dinosaur or just a giant robot vehicle, but there's obviously been signs left that this is probably where freight comes and goes. And being a blacksmith shop, you would assume that's probably this is probably where that's done. Now there is a very small kind of kiosk, almost like a little guardhouse right in front of this facility, that does have just I forget what it's called, but the kind of the drawbridge arm, the kind of security, like a toll booth arm that is set up just as a simple kind of stopgap, obviously. But the person located within this little kind of kiosk just seems to be a very vanilla, plain, young humanoid male. Looks to be about 20 years old. He's thumbing through a manual as you're gazing at him that looks like maybe it's got some kind of military application. You're not exactly sure, but you could swear you could see some weapon kind of schematics in what he's thumbing through. And he's just absentmindedly going between that and looking over and peering around, obviously trying to keep up at least the appearance that he's on guard. You do see a register to the side of him behind the security glass. And you see that there appears to be like a little locker, a seat, some different things that are set up. And you would guess this is a pretty elaborate setup for somebody who's just tracking and recording, the comings and goings of the business. It's probably some kind of mercantile that's able to actually sell some of this as well. So to answer your question in a really long-winded way, there definitely looks like right next to the blacksmith there's something like what you're kind of looking for.
Okay. I'll go up to the clerk and I'll be excuse me, do you have a moment?
Okay, as you do that, you startle the fuck out of him, and now that you've gotten closer, you see that his big bottle cap glasses fall off, and he goes, "Jesus Christ, mister! Oh, God! Oh, shit, I think I just pissed my pants a little bit. Oh, God, what can I help you with?"
To customers, I guess?
He just shakes his head, and he goes, "We've had some weird shit going on lately. I really apologize." He says, "I wasn't supposed to be splitting my attention. They warned me about that. What can I do for you, sir?" And he kind of stands up and kind of straightens the top button on his shirt, and he kind of just tries to get himself looking presentable again. But you could tell he's all mussed up and fucking red in the face and shit. You definitely scared the shit out of him.
It's kind of a bizarre thing, and I'm not sure if your knowledge would extend to this, but do you know anything about different types of metals, or possibly purifying metals, hence like removing excess from the actual ore itself, but also possibly as a child I read different things about removing imperfections that were more of a supernatural thing. I remember as a kid reading stories about using salt or other things to I'm essentially looking.
You can tell you've lost him completely. You can tell he's just looking at you like.
Do you sell flux like borax or something?
At this, he brightens up and he goes, "Oh, yes, indeed, sir. We definitely will perform any standard metallurgy or smelting services that you require for a nominal fee, of course." He hits a couple of buttons on the console in front of him, and a holo display pops up in front of. This is a very simple structure he's standing in that looks like it's just made of planks of very simple wood with a just basic coat of paint that you'd see in some provincial like town somewhere. But as he hits a few keys on the keyboard in front of him, this elaborate, lavish fucking holo display springs up in a large flat field between you and the actual booth that now has what appears to be, from your in-depth understanding of things like this lets you know right away, this isn't simply a holo screen to display information. This is a holographic infrared sensing touchscreen where you can interact with it in midair and manipulate it just like you would a physical touchscreen. So as this springs
Minority
up,
Report style kind of.
yeah, and as this springs up, you're impressed because it just illustrates to you once again the really mixed nature of technology levels here on Rift's Earth. Now you do see a big kind of notice in the bottom corner of the display that lets you know that any magical workings must be negotiated specifically with the Forge Master himself. That they don't do normal services that affect anything magical without his pre-authorization. So, but there is a space where you can request to meet with them and discuss that. So, but everything is pretty standard. You can have things refined, smelted. You can have alloys created. You can buy raw materials. They'll sell up to a ton of just about any standard raw material. Above that, you need a commercial license to purchase more than that within a day.
I'm essentially just looking for types of flux that they might use, like borax or something like that, if they have particular types.
So they
to
don't
use for different things.
because they're a smelting service.
They're
They
going to do it for you. They're not going to actually sell it.
exactly.
So,
But you would guess
there-
that that's something you probably would. I mean, if you looked around a bit, you're guessing you could probably find somewhere to get the basics. You know what I mean? So that stuff isn't generally like crazy, hard to come by. So
yeah.
in fact, man, borax. Yeah, you go to a general store later, just buy borax. You know.
Yeah,
What I mean?
I was trying to see if I could possibly see if there was. I was trying to see if I could possibly get access to a list of what they use to see if there was specific types of bonding agents or flux that might be different that could possibly assist in his.
I get you. You're in.
I don't know much about the process, but I was just being like, if I got time to come back, maybe I could find something that could assist with it. But since they don't seem to be having that type of thing for sale, or me to browse through and possibly see if I could find something, I don't want to waste any more time. So
Okay. You do get, decent information and make a mental note of how this whole, price structure works and everything. And it is something that as you guys are working on this stuff in the future, this is something you could definitely recall and skip a couple of steps later, possibly. So, all right. So being informed of all of that, do you want to say anything else to the guy behind the screen or?
I appreciate your assistance. I was just looking possibly for materials to purchase, not to have the actual work done. So I've wasted your time. I'm sorry. I need nothing from you at this moment. So thank you. Sorry for startling you.
Okay.
I will be on my way.
The field collapses as you finish saying this, and as you begin turning to leave, you notice that behind the field he had actually pulled out a rag, and he's dabbing the front of his overalls where he had actually wetted himself a little bit. Definitely find this a little bit strange because in this environment, you don't find too many individuals, even that don't have like basic combat training. The average person can't really afford to not know how to handle themselves, or the kind of soft nature of people of our age is almost not existent, is what I'm trying to say. So this is a little strange to you.
To have Ymir come back and visit him, so he'll shit himself.
Right.
And then.
Oh shit! All right, so go ahead.
That's I'm just gonna head back. There's nothing of interest for me at this place, and I don't want to go on a full shopping spree at the moment because my task is postponed for the moment. So I'm just gonna.
As you turn and look around, you see that where you saw. Let's see. You had left as they had walked over there. So you see that. Give me 1 second. Right here. You see that you're now to the side, kind of to the left side of this shop front, in front of the blacksmith facility. And as you look around, you realize that where they seem to have gone over to assist carrying things with the rest of the blacksmith kind of troop, it looks like if you just simply turn to your left a little bit and walk behind the building, that looks like the front of the facility they seem to be heading towards. Now, this presents kind of an option because you haven't really announced yourself or been invited to go back or anything like that. So even though you know roughly what room they're in, are you guys getting an echo?
Yeah, it just happened.
I'm not hearing, I don't think.
Huh. Okay.
I am hearing it just slightly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not severe, but I definitely heard it.
All right. Good shit. It's gone now. Good stuff. Okay. So you could essentially choose to kind of go around to the front and say, hey, I'd like to join my companions if that's what you're wanting to do. Or you could kind of turn to your left and head to this kind of building face. There are two independent doors. One is much larger than the other, and it's all the way kind of to the end on the right side of the front face of that building behind the main store face. And then there's a smaller one off on the left-hand side, which is kind of closer to where you are. So it's up to you, kind of where you want to go, what you want to do. You don't really see anybody else walking around or moving around or anything back here. And the person in the toll booth is completely consumed now with basically cleaning up, which is strange because he's in kind of almost like a security kind of booth type situation. So, but he's
slightly confused, I guess, by do I have the feeling that I'm kind of in an area that I shouldn't be at the moment?
Not necessarily. You could easily walk into an area that's technically right behind the main shop that leads to their kind of, their forges and their smelters and all the, storage and all this different shit. So it's sort of like if you go into Home Depot and there's like a back section, but there's not exactly like bars keeping you away or doors. You can kind of wander back there, but you're like, I don't really, you know what I mean? Like maybe I should ask somebody up front, or so that's the option I want to give you is, do you want to just go ahead and walk where it looked like they were going and pick a door? Do you want to, what would you like to do?
So that's what I'm confused about. So I've got two options to go. One seems like maybe I shouldn't be back there, and then one is like that's just going to get me back to my group, right? That's what I'm confused. I don't understand the difference between the two directions. That's what I'm lost on.
Your group is in the semi-restricted area.
Yeah, you got the feeling they went into this building, where if you walk over there, you're kind of behind the shop and you don't even know you're going to be walking around behind the shop. Nobody's walking with you, and nobody really told you.
Who you are.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody knows your face.
To get back to you guys, I'd have to go through this, what feels possibly like maybe I shouldn't be here area, since I'm not being escorted back there by someone who.
Or you could just simply go up front and see if you just let them know and see if somebody will walk you back.
My friends are downstairs. Help me.
And do I have a reason to think that, like, I mean, so I have a good idea where they went. Like, I won't get lost trying to go without instruction.
I mean, there's two doors, and you know your friend wouldn't have fit in one of them. Your
Sure. Okay.
Your Vana friend.
Yeah. I'm just gonna try to head that way. Fairly. I'm gonna try to not necessarily sneak, but be quiet and try to go through there without being detected, and just try to get to them as quickly as possible while being mindful of where I'm going.
Okay. You just kind of drop pretense and just turn and start fucking kind of fast walking and figure fuck it. If somebody says something, then whatever.
To look fairly confident. Yeah, I'm not going to look like I'm like, ugh.
Okay.
I'm going to try to look confident. Like I know where I'm at. I'm not yeah. I'm going to try to have the demeanor of like, yeah, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going here. I'm supposed to meet my friends here, as opposed to being like, where am I?
Okay.
I don't want people to, so if someone does see me, they might be like, oh, okay.
Sounds goodly.
Look at this nerd.
All right, I will say that as you just kind of take off and start walking, nobody at all interferes, and essentially you just bypass an entire step of having to get somebody's attention, because as you get to the large door, you see somebody from within the shop itself look back through the rear opening, see you standing there, and essentially just kind of nod at you like, yeah, that's, we assumed you'd be here at some
Oh,
point.
that's
So
that. Is that guy?
now, as you get to the door, it has a large kind of like bar handle that as you open the latch and step through, you see that it's got a large stone naturally cut staircase that leads down. And as you walk down the first stair, you see that there's some voices kind of coming from below around the corner that you can't see yet, and we'll leave it right there. Okay, so as we switch over,
I am going to pop right out real quick and check on my laundry. You guys continue. I'll be right back.
okay,
Oh, thanks, man.
as we switch over, we come down to a forge room that essentially looks like this. This is where our other two players find themselves, right outside of a kind of a steel bar door. They are essentially seeing this beyond the bars. Okay, let's zoom in just a little bit. And I want to very quickly...
Ymir turns to Ren quickly and goes, I thought it was just a knife.
Oh, shoot.
Let's go. Here it is. I don't know if I should... Bear, does your... for Ymir, does the light look all tinged with green?
Yes, because of my night vision.
I'll let you pick if you want that on or off, because I don't know if that's kind of diminishing the quality of it for you or not. You just
I
let
do
me
got a
know.
question though.
Yeah.
I do got a question though. I have my 3 eyes still on. It lasts for 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm wondering if what I'm seeing here is with the 3 eyes on.
Oh, no, I have to describe that because I won't be able to put that on the tabletop. So,
Okay, I didn't know if there was extra things I should be seeing.
oh, so when we shift over and start going into your guys'
Just making
turns.
sure.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely.
I'm just making sure.
I
'cause
appreciate
didn't
you
know if
reminding me,
that was
because
the-
that's something I'm going to need you guys to do constantly if there's something you feel should be activated. And yeah, definitely remind me anytime you can think of it.
I would say for now, Odin, if you would want to turn it off, if you've got some sort of, if you want it to look a certain way, for me, that's fine. But we just know that he's got,
Yeah,
if the lights go out, turn it back on. He's got night vision, so.
I have no problem with that. I just either way you want it is totally fine with me. I just wanted to give you the
I'm cool
option.
with it now, but what I'm saying is I respect your vision for it, because I know you put a lot of work into it. So if you're wanting it to have a specific visual and you're thinking that the night vision is kind of that effect anyway is fucking it up, feel free to turn it off.
Here, I'm going to look at it
But
through yours. You know what? That really doesn't... I think that's actually...
I wasn't bothered by it, but like I said, I respect your vision on it. So And we can always turn it back on because it's not like it's a visor. It's his fucking eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll just see. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, bro. Looking at it on and off, it looks like you definitely lose some visibility.
Yep.
I was worried it was going to kind of wash a wide radius in green, which is why I was thinking it was going to kind of screw things up. But
Okay. Well,
what?
then
I mean, it's up to
click
you 100%. Okay,
click it back on, brother. I think it matches the artwork better that way. Yep.
right on, right on.
Perfect.
Okay, so
I am back, by the way.
hey, welcome back.
Welcome back.
So let's see. Go to tokens. Give me just a second, guys. There it is. Okay. So we said what, 10, maybe 5, so like 15 minutes. Maybe like 4 or 5 to get down there. So let's go. Okay. So as you guys are heading down, you had seen that image of the room ahead of you, and you see that this door that has the bars, this kind of like cell door, is actually open for you. You see inside the room several different things, and first we're going to go over what Ymir, kind of what you're seeing. You notice right away that this room is built, the door included, to allow creatures up to probably 15, 16 feet, which is fucking huge. The scale of this room itself is actually quite large for what you know the facility to be. Now you see a lot of the common kind of trappings of not just a really well stocked and cared for kind of forging facility, blacksmith facility, and smelter. But you see that there are all of the arcane trappings as well that one would expect from not just a competent Kuznia, which is a mystic smith,
Yep.
the type of discipline that you come from, the type of smithing that you are familiar with, but a fairly advanced one at that. Something strange, though, is that usually a Kuznia will be focusing more on just simply helping the people and trying to kind of spread beneficial and benevolent gifts where possible, but not really trying to necessarily just sell their wares and tip the balance of power in any, particular conflict or area. And so something that you notice is that this is almost like a mix between a Kuznia shop and a very modern standard kind of commercial facility, okay? Which you've seen a few in your experience so far. As you look around, you're seeing that the central forge itself appears to be wrapped within several layers of extremely powerful rune circles and enchantment equations. All of this seems to be focusing the kind of central crucible's temperature with a magical property that you know from experience allows it to both smelt and forge mystical alloys, which there's very, very few ways to do that safely and effectively. This particular forge looks like it was created by somebody of immense power with the help of several different kinds of high level practitioners of magic with different disciplines. Anyway, you do get the feeling that this one piece alone, for a lot of Kuznia, would be considered almost a greater artifact. It's so incredibly just inherently powerful. It definitely sparks your imagination, the kinds of things that you could get up to with your craft using a facility like this. So in a way, you definitely get a kid in a candy shop kind of vibe. As you look over to your left, you see a silver anvil, a kind of very, very stylized and highly embossed and filigreed, almost meticulously enhanced and decorated item for shaping the mystical properties as well as the metallurgic structure of different mystical artifacts and weapons. Next to it, you see what you know to be a large bucket of holy water that is essential in some of the different crafting processes known to your people, to your profession. You see off on the left-hand side, there are some desks with, lots of standard items that you would expect to see, some looking perhaps mystical. You see further on, there seems to be some storage with different blueprints kind of laid out haphazardly, as different spaces are used in workshops all the time. Just, wherever you can put something, that's where it's going to be for the moment. You also see in the far corner, there's a whole bunch of finished, different stages of finished products, waiting for further repair, manufacture, or just final touches. And on the far wall, you're seeing just hints of what are essentially like raw materials across most of the far wall. Now, as you're looking around, the rear of the room looks very, very dim to you, and you see that a lot of it is being obscured by the light in the center, the central forge. Now, standing in front of the forge, you see... Oops, let me take that off. You see the Forge Master. Drago is currently kind of pounding away on some kind of piece of craft. You're not exactly sure what he's working on, but as you come down to the bottom of the landing of the stairs and look into the room, right away you see his eyes go from his work and dart directly to you and lock eyes in a kind of steely stare, which you're not sure exactly how to take it. It doesn't look friendly at all, but you're just not sure of the manner of this man yet.
We certainly don't trust each other. It's purely a business transaction, so I expect it.
Okay. As his eyes dart back down to his work, you notice that standing over by the anvil is Lars. He actually seems to be preparing some different cloths and oil, some whetstones and some different things that he is getting set on the surface of the anvil itself, a few different tools and engraving instruments. And it seems like everything that he's doing, it's all laid out on a kind of silken embroidered cloth on the surface of the anvil. And it just seems like he's kind of preparing for whatever it is that, his role is going to be. You would guess like, kind of some of the finishing work. Beyond that, you're really not seeing much. Let me see. Okay, beyond that, yeah, you're not really seeing much, and you would guess that you're more than welcome to go ahead and walk in, as nobody's really paying much attention to you. Lars hasn't even really, he doesn't, you can just barely see him through the portion of the bars that are open to you, and it looks like he's just kind of working away.
Can I see the gems in the back corner on the map behind the armor stand? Or they? Yes, I can. Okay.
Yes. In fact, to make you be able to see, let me just go like this. To make you be able to see Lars and stuff, now you should be able to. There we go. Yeah, he's standing right there at the anvil.
Okay.
And okay, so that's what you're seeing.
Do I see that as well?
Yeah, I'm going to, let me make sure. Okay. So a comma with your enhanced magical sight emanating from your mystic tattoo, you are seeing a bright white shining energy shooting out of the top surface of the anvil to your left, almost like it's like a bonfire of white light.
Gotcha.
You're not sure exactly what the enchantment on it is, but whatever it is, it's really fucking potent. You're also seeing a dull kind of glow of the same nature coming from the surface of the barrel of what you would guess is holy water situated next to it. You also see Lars standing there preparing stuff. As you look at Lars, you're not really seeing much out of the ordinary. He seems pretty much just like a pleb human, nothing strange. As you look over on the desk and at some of the crates and so forth along the left wall, you notice there's a lot of items that seem to be mystical, that are glowing with kind of low-level enchantments, just denoting obvious mystical properties. Now, none of them look even close to even the big barrel of the holy water in intensity, but they do seem like some of these blueprints, some of these tools, some of these, notes, and, even the monocle, everything seems like it has some kind of glow. The croissant does not. It is just a croissant. Let's see. As you look across to the back wall, well, you both are able to see this. As you look across to the back wall, you see, we're just going to go from left to right. And this is on token, right? Yeah. You see this individual whom you had seen carrying equipment and kind of participating in work around this facility earlier. You see him standing towards the rear of the room. He's not holding that, glowing rod in his hand. He's just simply working at this kind of large forge in the rear of the facility, seeming to kind of get it, get tools and so forth organized. He also seems to be kind of going back and forth to the coal reserves and inserting more fuel into the furnace to get it up to temperature. As you look at as you start looking over towards this large furnace in the back, your sight is naturally drawn to this kind of forge and smelter in the front. You now see just huge crackling arcs of mystical energy with your enhanced sight arcing off of this kind of large crucible itself. It's going into the forge master. It's going down into the ground. It's going up towards the ceiling, which, by the way, the ceiling is about 40 feet tall. So you guys had come down. That's about the length of the stairs that you guys had come down, just to give you reference. Well, roughly 50 foot or so. As you're looking around, this effect is actually a little bit disorienting, and you realize that this thing is so powerful that it's on a scale that it's causing you just a slight headache, almost like if a normal human is just going to look into some really bright fluorescence and just stare at them for a few minutes. It's just kind of causing a little discomfort, and you wonder what exactly this thing is made for, because in your different travels, you've never witnessed something that is, like an arcane device like this that just simply radiates so much raw power. That's not to say that this is some kind of godly device, but it seems to you, what you're witnessing seems really, really overkill for simply helping to forge mystical items. It just doesn't, there's something that seems a little off to you. You also notice a very bright glow coming off of this huge chain that seems to be attached to the bottom of the crucible and end in a large kind of like cuff at the end. This chain seems to kind of sparkle and arc with a energy signature that is slightly off from what you're witnessing from the forge itself. You're not exactly sure why that would be either. As you look at the forge master, you notice that this man has a very strange effect around him. He almost seems to have a flickering, almost short-circuiting aura of mystical energy that is just barely visible. It seems very weak and very if it were a heartbeat, you would fear that it's just about to pass away. It just seems threadbare, but there nonetheless. And as you're observing him, the man himself stands a full 7 foot tall and is just a solid wall of work muscle. Not glamour muscle. This man looks like he could just walk through a tree if he set his mind to it. And he is wielding a very simple hammer as he's working on whatever project he's at right now. And you're a little surprised that in this environment with all these mystical tools and all of this stuff, he doesn't even appear like he's using a mystical instrument right now. You're not sure why that is. As you look around on the walls, you see a lot of the gear hanging around actually seems to be mystical. In fact, there's a hammer close by at the main forge itself in the back that looks identical to what he's using, but you can tell that it has mystical runes and etchings on it. In fact, there's a variety of what appear to be different types of those, all lined up for use, that each have their own kind of shade of and signature of energy. But again,
I apologize. Where the runes at?
Back here, you're noticing there's all kinds of hammers, tools, different things like that are very similar to what he's using, but they all seem enchanted and kind of powerful and like they could maybe, add extra potency to whatever he's doing, but he's just using a regular item. Doesn't exactly make sense. As you continue looking past him, you see the main forge itself, and this as well is glowing with a dull but very just kind of deep and kind of baseful and supportive kind of mystical enchantment that it kind of makes sense. It looks like some of the other devices sort of this type that you've seen before. You've never really had exposure to this exact kind of thing. But for example, when you've been places where there's a huge mystical oven that's used for making giant pizzas for, large armies, it has the same kind of signature and kind of level that this device seems to have. So it seems proportionate. Whereas the main crucible, it's off the charts. It doesn't make any sense. As you look to the right, you see that there are the bellows feeding the main forge that are currently, and again, Ymir, you see this as well, that are currently being worked
This guy.
by this guy. He appears hard at work, and you notice that while you're watching, he seems to take a break from pumping the bellows. And as soon as he slows down and kind of really, really stops his motion and activity, he seems to be taking several deep breaths, and you're seeing him from the back. But as soon as he stops actually working, you notice that his strange flesh seems to be jumping all over the place on its own, much like a horse or a any kind of equine or large animal that has that really intense twitch response to insects. It's making sections of his body kind of jerk around and twitch just from his skin doing that so violently. And it definitely does not look like it's under control, because as he goes to adjust a buckle on his shoulder of his apron, it actually causes his hands to kind of move around and become almost useless in the endeavor until it settles down. As you guys both see this, you can't help but feel a little bit of it seems like a great example of a being's body working against itself, and you can't help but think that must be a difficult condition to live with. That and its already kind of ghastly appearance, according to the prettier races, probably makes it something of an outcast. Now, almost to punctuate this point, you hear the Forge Master, as he turns his head over his left shoulder, you hear him let out a loud, kind of angry grunt. And as he does so right away,
Get that shit out.
this individual right away jumps back forward, grabbing onto the bellow handle, and just begins pumping furiously, trying to get the heat up to temperature once again.
Jittery little bastard.
It lets out a kind of almost a kind of goat-like bleating squeal, kind of and just fucking jumps back into it and starts pumping away. Now this scream, it makes you guys realize this is definitely not just some kind of mutated human. This is some other race. You guys both realize this is some kind of DB, some kind of dimensional being, alien being, that is not just basic human.
So it's like a goat, but in a human.
It seems like that, and this twitchy aspect definitely reminds you of kind of livestock that you've seen like that. Okay. Now, as you look past him, you see another kind of almost like a small, really regal kind of cistern that's set up with what looks like another kind of small basin of what looks like holy water. But this large kind of device, it actually looks like it's made for something other than just cooling and tempering metal.
I want to see half of it.
Oh, you'll be moving around in just a second. So, in fact, if you guys want, I don't have any problem. Just stay behind the door itself, and you guys can freely move your characters, kind of
I don't know
side
where
to
the
side a
door
little.
is.
It's right in front of you.
I have all black. I don't see nothing. Do you have to like open the door?
Oh no, the door's open. The door's open. I'm just saying, if you want to grab your character and move it side to side a little.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, the door's right in front of you right here. It's
Ah, a little bit
it's
more.
open right
Okay.
here. So,
I don't have anything like everything on my end from where my character is up to this, I don't know, white thing on the middle right. Let me see if I can fit a pointer down.
if you just click and hold on the board somewhere, it should do a alert. If you just left click and hold somewhere, does that not do it?
There you go. There. So from where I am to over here, I don't see anything.
You're not supposed
I
to.
can see. Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure because you
No,
said
yeah.
you walk in the door and I'm like, I don't see anything else.
No, so you're going to have to remember with your mystic vision, I'm still going to have you looking at things kind of
Aura like instead of
Well,
like
so
night
here's how we
vision
can do it,
stuff.
because let me put it like this. If we look at PCs, if
So
this has
is
a
that
big